Hey guys, welcome back to Grit and Grace Farm. It's been a couple weeks since we uploaded a video because we've been busy and I haven't really had time to film and edit. So I am out in the garden and we had a windstorm and we're going to be getting more in a thunderstorm. Some of these beds have held up. Well, one of these beds is held up and it's because it's been the one that's been the least worked in. But we've had a couple of different high wind gusts come through and torn up the 6mm plastic, which we knew it probably would. We knew they probably wouldn't last very long. We were hoping they would last until spring. No, not really. So before the rest of this storm comes through, I'm gonna have Matt come out and help me tear these down because this is what we woke up to this morning. So this one's still intact because we've hardly gotten into it. It's just been left there and is still pretty sturdy. But these, because they had been opened to plant in and to water, the winds had been pulling and tugging and breaking stuff already. So these were already compromised. So I'm not surprised to come out here and find them like this. Thankfully, it doesn't look like they damaged any of the plants inside, which was my major concern at 5 o'clock in the morning when we woke up to severe gust of wind blowing things around the yard. But is what it is. We knew that this was a very temporary thing, but we needed to get something up. And it worked for what we needed it for. It protected these plants so that they could sprout when it was colder. So, we don't recommend this. We don't recommend using this setup if you live in a place that has a lot of wind. We aren't used to this level of wind. When we lived back down in Houston, we were in suburbia. We had a fenced-in backyard. Our front yard would have a nice breeze, but when we would walk into the backyard, there was just like no breeze because of the fencing and trees and stuff like that. And so we never had to deal with this except for in extreme situations like, you know, hurricane weather. But we're now like on the tail end of Tornado Alley and we have no fences up here. We have a couple chain link fences and wire fences, but we don't have wooden 6-foot high wooden privacy fences that block the wind. And we're not exactly on a hill, but we are kind of up and exposed, and so we weren't exactly sure what to expect when it came to wind, and it was just too much for this setup. It might work well for you if you are in a place that doesn't have that, but this isn't going to work for us. So I'm going to have Matt, when he comes out to feed the pigs here in a minute, I'm going to have him help me take these two down. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one up and see how it fares. Since it hasn't been compromised like the other ones were. Wind had already damaged these and torn up a lot of this plastic. It wasn't anchored down very well anymore. So, but those two also, so this one and this one were blocking some of the wind for that other one. So once that goes down, I'm not sure how that last one's gonna fare. But we'll see. I'm really hoping that this last one can stay up at least for a couple more weeks, because I just planted tomato and pepper seeds in there and we are going to have some nights in the 40s, and so I don't think that any of them have sprouted yet, but if they do sprout before those nights drop down into the 40s, then they might die. But I figured it was worth a shot. We'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that now. So we decided that the main reason these came down is because the wind was pushing on the plastic, probably because a lot of the frame stayed in place. So for ease right now, because it's starting to rain on us, we're just pulling the plastic. We're gonna leave the frame intact, see how that does. Leave this one here since it was mostly still anchored. Hope and pray that that one stays, because it's the only one that we really need to stay right now. When the nights get cold, I'm gonna need to cover this tomato plant that I got yesterday at the store. But other than that, the rest of it should be fine for 40s. I did find that some of my onions snapped in half, so I'm gonna leave them there, see if they recover. I don't think they snapped completely in half, but some of them are down. So these were the only casualties, were just a couple of these right here. Otherwise, everything looks good. So, all right, well, I guess we're gonna finish this up and then I'll show you guys the chickens and update you on those. So we are back inside. We got all the plastic taken down, folded up, and put in the storage shed. And then we had to go and stack some other things that had gotten blown around. So I will update you real quick. I just got breakfast going. The last time I posted was the chicks arriving. And we did have 2 that were down. They did end up dying. We don't know what happened, if it was just shock from transport or dehydration, or if there was something wrong with those chicks particularly. Since then, all the rest of them have been doing really great. We had a friend come over and pick up 10 of them. The last couple of days, we started to have some of them develop what we think is like a B vitamin deficiency, where they were kind of, their legs were weak, they weren't wanting to walk around, so we got a supplement and that perked most of them up. We still have 2 or 3 that are kind of limping around and hobbling around. They can, when they need to, get up and go, and so they're not showing any signs of disease. And everybody we've talked to seems to think that it's probably some kind of vitamin deficiency. And what we've read online is just a few days, sometimes it takes up to like 5 days, of them having this vitamin supplement, and then they'll be back up on their feet. So we're just watching. We're greatly encouraged that ones that were starting to show the same signs upon getting the vitamins perked right up, and they're doing just fine, as you can see in the little clip I just did. So the couple that are still hobbling around, they're able to get to their food, they're still eating and drinking, they are generally happy. They are just kind of on the weak side, and so we're just watching and waiting and seeing. Other than that, they all seem to be very healthy. They're very friendly and sweet and so fun to watch. The kids love picking them up. It's really cool. I'll show you this. They like to be pet and held. Or they flock to you. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Yeah? Hi, come here. Come on. Hi. Ooh, hi. Matt made sure that we were super intentional about picking them up and handling them so that they would be used to us. You're gonna hop down? There he goes. And because of that, they are super friendly. They are 4 weeks, I think, almost 4 weeks, something like that. 4 weeks this week. Anyways, and so they are starting to nip at each other and play and buck up, and it's a whole bunch of rowdy boys. And now they have figured out how to hop up from the brooder up to the side a couple of times. So one of my jobs today, if the weather holds out, is I'm going to run into town and I'm going to get some hardware cloth for us to fashion a top to this. We hadn't needed it until now, but now we need it. And we knew we were going to, we just hadn't done it yet. So it is time. But they're doing really well. I didn't think to do a garden tour earlier while I was out there. So here, I'm gonna go finish up breakfast. We'll eat breakfast, and if it's not pouring down rain, I'll take you out there and show you what we've got going on in the garden. So it is later in the afternoon. I had to go run some errands, and went and got hardware cloth to cover the chicken's coop, or the brooder area, so that they will not jump out. And when I went to Home Depot to pick that up, I also grabbed a pepper plant. So I just stuck that in the ground real quick, and we're supposed to be getting some rain and some wind tonight. So I'll just show you real quick, and then I'll close out this video. So here's a little impromptu garden tour. So in bed number 1, this is, I don't remember how tall this is now, or how long this is now. I think it's 4 by 16. Yeah, 4 by 16. And we have strawberries, we have potatoes, then we have onions. So we got 3 of the 5 potato slips that I planted have come up. And we've got all these onions. And then this is romaine lettuce that I transplanted in here the other day that I had gotten at the store. And then that's the pepper plant that I just planted. And then this is a tomato plant. The tomato plant is a red beefsteak, and then that's a gypsy sweet pepper. And then in here are several different varieties of peppers and tomatoes that I will give you guys a peek at when they have actually sprouted. And I need to water them, I think. So anyway, so down here on this end, we have radishes that are doing pretty good. And then a little bit of carrots. And we planted stuff right here, lettuces and stuff, and it really hasn't sprouted. Over here we do have a couple of sprouts, and I want to say it was kale that we planted over here, but now I can't remember, so that should be fun. Or they might be different kinds of radishes. Anyways, so that'll be fun when it finally grows. Over here, I believe this is lettuce that I planted. I probably should have documented it better, but I just did stuff. Over here, we have purple potted beans. And then I also planted some green beans over here, and they did not grow. And so I think I'm going to replant this area with some dragon tongue bush beans because I forgot about those. But these are all purple potted beans, and they have sprouted and are doing beautifully. So then over here we've got that kale that we had started over in the little containers, and they are also doing really well. You might also notice a nice lovely ant mound making its way over here. It's great. It's exactly what I wanted in my garden. So it's not a whole lot, but it is a start, and hopefully we'll be able to get a decent harvest out of it. So I guess that's really all I got for y'all today. Got a little chicken update, got a garden update, and yeah. I'd take you over to the piggies, but I'm not wearing proper boots to go back to that part of the property right now. So I will just check off. Thanks for joining us here at Grit and Grace Farm.